The fifth rule of ARIA is that interactive elements must have an accessible name. What does that mean? It means that elements that are interactive should have exactly one name. This is just like your web page should have exactly one heading 1. And we want to evaluate what to use for this accessible name in a specific order. The first is if the text is visible right there on the element. Second, if a label element is present that is proper and to be associated. Next, we should look for ARIA labeled by. This would mean that there's already text on the page that we can use as the label. And finally, if we have nothing else to use, we put an ARIA label on the element. Here are some examples. The most common example is a link. We have an anchor link here. It goes to a location. It has the visible text right there, visit homepage. That's it, we're done. No ARIA needed. The second one is when we are using semantic HTML and we can properly associate a label with it. For example, on forms. Here we have a form with label for fname, and the label says first name. Then we have an input type text, and that input has an ID, fname. This is how we associate the label with the input, is that ID. The next option to use is ARIA labeled by. We already have text that is present on our page and would make a good label for this element. One of the most common situations is to have a modal window. This modal window needs to have an accessible name. The easiest thing to use is the heading that is already at the top of the modal. So here I have div, ARIA labeled by, modal h2, and then within this modal, I have a heading 2 with an ID, modal h2, and that will then name the whole modal. Modal is an interactive element and therefore needs an accessible name. The last option to use is an ARIA label when we don't have any text present. A common example of this is the favorite button on a web shop. Here I have an example of a button with a heart symbol on it. That heart doesn't have any text. It's just a small little button to allow you to favorite the item. So we're going to make that heart, wrap it in a button, and we're going to put an ARIA label on that button to allow us to favorite the swing dress. That label makes it clear what this button does. So remember, only use the ARIA labeled by or ARIA label if there isn't already text or a label present, and only use one accessible name per item. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more information on web accessibility.